Jackson State University pulled off a dub up there in Itabena, okay, versus Valley by a score of 21-6. Okay, 21-6. That 6 came very late in the game. Okay. In a very unique situation. All right, so that's why I say JSU nearly blanked Valley. Okay. So let's talk about it. But before I do, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. I am your homeboy first, and this is the realest, most entertaining show in the game. Put it on some. Again, hit that subscribe button, share, put all your people on it. Hit that like button, join the channel if you will. Okay. If I seem a little somber right now, y'all, it's because I just filmed my reaction to the young king Jalen Burns passing, and I'm still kind of in that mode, okay? But as I said in that video, I'm going to do my job. You know, I'm in the entertainment business. I chose to be in this business, and part of my job is to make y'all happy even when I'm not happy, okay? So I'm going to do my job, okay? And I know one of the things that makes you happy is when Jackson State University gets a win. And when Jackson State gets a win, what we do here on Put It On Some is we strike up the motherfucking band. Let's go. So it's time for the realest rundown. Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. All right. Of course, the most notable thing from this game was we got a new quarterback. Okay, new QB1. I suppose. Okay, you never know. Things may change going into the next game. All right, but we had a different quarterback this game. Okay, and it was Canton's own JaCobian Morgan. Okay, shout out to that young king. It was very exciting to see somebody from my whole hometown under center for Jackson State University. Okay. I had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Morgan. If y'all missed that, make sure y'all go back and check out that interview. Okay. But it was very exciting to see the young king out there in the starting role. Okay. But let's get into the realest rundown. All right. On our first drive, we were forced to punt. All right. The drive was hurt by a false start. We had like 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3 or something like that, and we ended up getting pushed back to 3rd and long. And then they blitzed, and then we missed a downfield throw. Okay. However, JaCobian looked pretty good on this drive. Okay. And overall, if you look at everything in its totality, with him using his legs especially, he looked pretty good on the day. Okay. But he on this particular drive, he picked up a first down on a design run, and he made some good throws to the outside. Okay, on this particular drive. But again, we were forced to punt. Okay. On their first drive, we forced to punt. Great form tackling on 3rd down by Mr. Callaghan. Okay, shout out to him. Also, Mr. Peppers got a sack on this drive. Okay, and that would be a theme for this day. Okay. And their freshman QB, that's a big kid. That's a big kid. I think they said he was like 240 or something like that. I might have to see his birth certificate. That's a big ass boy. Okay. But on our next drive, we got a touchdown run by Mr. Moultrie. Okay. And hey, Mr. Milligan is out right now. My boy, get well soon, my boy. Okay. But hey, one of them out, next man up. So I got to say, give Mr. Moultrie the damn ball. Okay. And unfortunately, we didn't do enough of that in the second half for my taste. Okay. But this was a great drive. Okay. Mr. Morgan made some great runs on this drive, and one was designed and one was a scramble. Okay. And like I said, ultimately, Mr. Moultrie got in the end zone for us. Okay. So that made it 7-0. In the second quarter, we forced a turnover on downs, and a wild play occurred during this drive. Okay. They went for that old tush push that you see Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles having mastered in the NFL. Okay. But either they got stuffed or it was a fake because the QB ended up coming back out. And then he faked the pass, but then he sprinted, to the outside and went and got the first down. Wild play. I haven't seen that yet. When Philly does it or some of these other teams do it in the league. I haven't seen that yet. All right. They eventually went for it on fourth near their 50, and we stuffed the run. Okay, like I said, turnover on downs. On our possession though, Mr. McCray fumbled. Okay, it was a great throw and catch between him and Mr. Morgan, but Valley ripped the ball out, and this happened to be our second fumble of the day. Okay, Mr. Stevens, if I'm not mistaken, had fumbled earlier, but our center recovered that. All right, so see, I said the sacks would be a theme of the day, and still these motherfucking fumbles were a theme of the day, just like they were last week against Alabama State. Okay, but we didn't give up points off of it. Defense stood tall, okay, and they forced a punt. Okay, so on our next possession, touchdown run by Mr. Morgan. And it was a spectacular scramble on like 3rd and 3. Valley looked like they had them, but the tacklers just bounced off of them, and one of them lost their helmet even, okay? So I'm sure that y'all gonna be seeing that shit chopped up, and it's gonna be like wildfire all over social media, okay? JaCobian is a big ass motherfucker himself. Okay, I know I said Valley has a big ass quarterback, but JaCobian Morgan is a big boy, and that young man from Valley sure knows that as well right now. Okay, and Young Blood chunked the deuces on his way into the end zone too. Okay, he got a little swag to him, and he did the Cam celebration. So seems like he's influenced by old Cam Newton. Okay. But on our next defensive possession, we forced a punt. We got a great sack that severely put them behind the sticks. Okay. And that led to them eventually punting the football. Unfortunately, though, on our next drive, we were forced to punt. We had incompletions on 1st and 3rd downs, and our run got stuffed on 2nd down. Okay. When they got the ball back, we forced another turnover on downs. And this was after Valley picked up a 1st down, okay? But after that, they had personal foul on them because their wide receiver pushed Mr. Guthrie. Now, I know the commentators were trying to act like Mr. Guthrie was the one that kind of instigated it, he made a big hit, and then it looked like he might have pushed the young man down a little bit, but then they got up, they went face to face, and then the young man pushed Mr. Guthrie off of him. Okay, but that happened. So you got that person to foul. Then we had 2 sacks. Okay, then they had a long ass run that made it 4th and 10, and then they went for it, and shit, we ended up getting another sack. Okay, so shit, 3 sacks on this one possession. Okay, them boys were going ham. All right, this gave us the ball on our side of the 50, but we didn't have much time at all. I think we might have had 8 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't put that in my notes though, but it wasn't much time at all. So JaCobian, he threw a pretty damn good ball to the goal line, but it ended up falling incomplete. Okay. And so in total, we had like 5 sacks in the first half. Okay, so defense came to the party once again. Okay, they've been doing their thing overall this whole year, for real, for real. At halftime, only one thing mattered. I know I usually have fun with this and try to tell y'all something that the band played. I might even sing you a little bit of it if I know it and shit like that. Only one thing mattered, and it was the fact that the Boom honored the young king, Mr. Burns. They spelled his name out, and they played that song "Someday." It's a very uplifting song, a very hopeful song, a very optimistic song. And we need some optimism. I'm gonna try to come off that because I just did a whole hour long segment on that. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go watch that. Go watch that if you want my reaction to that. I don't want to go there again right now. Okay, but shout out to the Boom. Shout out to the Boom. Okay, that was great. And acting President Anthony came out there and she did a balloon release and everything. Okay, everything was beautiful. I'd stopped taking notes on halftime after I saw that nothing else mattered after that. Okay, but let's get back to the game. In the third quarter, on Valley's first possession, BJ Washington made a spectacular interception. Okay, he was roaming like Ed Reed was. Okay, during his playing days, and he laid out for it. He laid out, and it was beautiful. And then we fumbled again. The shotgun snap, hell, it looked like it didn't even make it to JaCobian. It hate to say it looked like it kind of went up into the center's ass or something, I guess. I don't know, because JaCobian was in shotgun. And I don't know. The ball just fucking dropped. Okay. And that was fumble number 3. And that gave Valley the ball near I-15. Okay, so shit, they threw a pick, then we do that, and hell, it's like they gained yardage off that shit. But it turned out to be a wild drive by Valley. The sacks, penalties, shit. It looked like their wide receiver had moused us for a touchdown, but that shit was nullified by a holding penalty. And then the drive ended in a missed field goal. Okay, so we were still blanking them at this point. Okay. Unfortunately, though, we were forced to punt. The drive started well with a big run by Mr. Morgan. Then we got stalled with 2 incompletions and a throw in front of the sticks. Well, we were gonna need some yards after catch to get the first down, but we were unsuccessful in doing that. I did put in my note though, we didn't hand the ball off at all, and I don't know what was going on. The stats might be deceiving when y'all look at them and see what the rushing to passing ratio is. When you look at those stats, you got to remember a lot of them runs were done by Mr. Morgan. Okay, because in that second half, we very rarely handed that thing off. I don't know why. Okay, I know we're down Mr. Martin, we're down Mr. Mulligan. Okay, but Mr. Miller and Mr. Moultrie, they've been running that bitch too. But for some reason we didn't really give it to them in the second half. I don't know if that was planned. Maybe we were thinking, okay, this is a team that we can be. We got them under wraps, whatever the case is. We know we're more talented. Whatever, we're gonna win this game. Let's try to get JaCobian some reps for real in this game for going forward. I'm just speculating. I have no idea if that was the thinking. I have no idea. It may have just been that's what the OC was seeing, that the coverage was dictating pass instead of hand it off to the running backs. I don't know. I just know they didn't get many carries in the second half. Okay. At any rate, on Valley's next possession, Mr. Huggins got him a spectacular interception. Okay. He undercut the route beautifully, and he too laid out for that thing. You feel me? Keep that in mind. Okay, that's a little foreshadowing of something to come. All right. Unfortunately, we were forced to punt on our next drive, and it was a terrible drive. Okay, Mr. Morgan fumbled on third down. He just dropped the ball as he rolled out to his left. We did recover this one though, but this made it our fourth fumble of the day. Okay. Uh, Defense stood tall though, and they forced a punt. And as I put in my note, it was just a sack party. Party in the backfield, okay? Goddamn it, everybody get in. Everybody get in. The big boys, particularly, you getting in free, okay? And they were goddamn coming through the door. And they were having a party in the backfield. Shout out to them young kings, okay? At this point, that made it 7 sacks. I think we ended up with like 8 overall, if I'm not mistaken, okay? But we were forced to punt on our next possession. The play calling went like this: QB run, then we did a short pass, then we did a long pass versus the blitz. And again, I put in my notes, either Valley's formations were dictating that we pass, or we had abandoned the run at that point. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Just telling you what I saw. We forced a punt though on their next possession. They had a screen set up pretty nice on us, but they dropped it. Okay. And then when we got the ball back, we were forced to punt. Here, the play calling again looked like this. It was a short pass, a long incompletion. We missed Mr. Spencer butt naked down the middle. Okay. We missed that one. And then on the last one, down, bad snap, fumble. And this was the 5th fumble, but we recovered it. Okay. So now we move to the 4th quarter. And that man, Mr. Huggins, again, had another spectacular interception. Okay. Basically, like the other one, he undercut the route once again and laid out for that thing. Great shit that he put on tape today. Okay. So that pick by BJ Washington and them 2 picks by Mr. Huggins, they were incredible. Okay. I'm sure y'all will be seeing those on the highlight reels and shit like that, because they were absolutely spectacular. Okay. Thankfully, on our next possession though, we got a touchdown pass to Mr. Fortillion. I hope I'm pronouncing this young king's name right. I hadn't seen him all year. Okay, but that young king now, shit, he got some size on him, because he just basically boxed the man out on a one-on-one. He got to have a hoop background or something. He just basically boxed the man out and got this touchdown. He even hit the little, 2 little thing. I'm glad he didn't get personal foul and unsportsmanlike for that. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, the man was too little. All right, but this drive was aided by a PI. Now the commentators were trying to act like they couldn't see the DB holding the man's arm. These commentators weren't being like, oh boy, what's the dude's name? What's that motherfucker name that always Jay Walker? They weren't being like Jay Walker during the game, but on this particular play, they had a little Jay Walker in them. Okay, because they were trying to act like they couldn't see the goddamn DB holding our boy's arm. Shit, if a man if I got one arm up trying to catch the ball and the man got my whole other arm, shit, that's a PI. What we talking about? What we talking about? Okay, so the drive was aided by that, but we finished it off with a great pass and catch to Mr. Fortillion. Okay, and that would make it 21-0 at that point. So that's a touchdown run by Mr. Moultrie. There's a touchdown run by Mr. Morgan, and then that's that touchdown pass from Mr. Morgan to Mr. Fortillion. Okay, to make it 21-0 at that point. Now after that, Valley went to their backup quarterback, but we were able to force a punt. But then on our possession, we ended up missing the field goal. Okay, and it was the first miss for Mr. Watson. Okay, it may have been blocked. I'm not sure. Okay, they didn't really even do a replay on it. I was watching at the crib on ESPN Plus. Okay, but that was his first miss. But I still, It's shout out to that young man. You know, talking about the fact that this young king was just on campus. Shit. Who else just walking around that bitch with some talent we can use? Okay, make yourself known. All right, you got some great young people just walking around that bitch that can do shit. You cannot put your talent on the in hiding like that. Okay, we got to put that shit on display. Okay, so I ain't mad at Mr. Watson. He made some good kicks for me so far. Okay, but on Valley's next possession, they were forced to punt, and then when we got the ball back, we fumbled again. This was our sixth fumble. The third one that we lost, y'all. Okay. Mr. Morgan fumbled it inside the 5-yard line. So we were on our way into making it 28-0. Okay. And that would have been a resounding victory after the I ain't gonna say ass whooping. We didn't get our ass whooped last week. It came down to the last play. After the disappointing loss that we suffered last week, okay? But it seemed like the same shit that made us lose last week, we brought that shit on into this week, the goddamn fumbles, okay? And when they got the ball, they went 98 yards and 2 damn runs. And this young man, he get up in the end zone and shit. He done threw up the hooks for the Q dog and did a split on us and every goddamn thing. Okay. Now you might say, well, shit, young blood, you down 21-6. What the fuck you doing all that for? And shit. Guess that man said, fuck that here. I'm finna rep my shit no matter what. We could be down 51-6. I'm finna throw this shit. All right, more power to you, young king. Okay. But they missed the extra point, and that's how we end up with a score of 21-6. Okay. So if you follow everything that I put out, you know that I, first letter, have I had to turn on my journalistic light. I had to put on my journalistic cap. Let me say that, my journalistic cap. Okay. And I had some breaking news for y'all. Okay. Me, I alone broke the news that TC Taylor has hired Denzel Washington to be on the staff at Jackson State University. Okay. I released that video and it showed facetiously a clip of Denzel's portrayal of Coach Boone, Coach Herman Boone. Okay. From the legendary movie Remember the Titans. And y'all know the part I'm talking about, where he says, talks about running a mile, all the shit that you're going to have to run a mile for. And he says, if you fumble my football, I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind paws, and you will run a mile. TC just going to have to do that. Maybe he is doing that. Again, as a former coach, sometimes motherfuckers be screaming for what you should do, and you be wanting to tell them, bitch, I'm doing that. These little motherfuckers just ain't listening, or they just ain't doing it. And then you just gotta get you some other guys who can do it. Could be doing it. I can't see. Okay. I can't see us losing our homecoming game against Alabama State, primarily because of fumbling the football. Okay. And us not having a hell of a weekend practice with in terms of focusing on ball security. I'm sure they did a bunch of ball security drills, which is why coach in his post-game on-field interview, he cussed. He said, oh, shit, we got to fucking finish games. But I'm sure he probably want to say as well, we got to fucking hold on to the football. Okay? 6 fumbles, 3 loss. Can't have that. Can't have that. We were able to still beat Valley like that. We may be able to beat our next opponent like that. But given the fact that Texas Southern hung in with FAMU in the first half at least, and then you know who Alcorn is in a rivalry game, we damn sure ain't gonna be able to beat them motherfuckers having no 5-6 fumbles and shit. So we gotta tighten up. But we got a dub, okay? And I will take it. In the first year of the TC Taylor era, overall, y'all is going well. Remember, don't forget now. Motherfuckers trying to big sports media trying to act like Prime just stayed 2 years. Like he only had 2 seasons with us. We had a spring season too, goddammit. Okay. I remember. I was there. I covered that shit. Okay. Alabama A&M won the SWAC that year. We let Coach Maynard come up in our building and win the damn SWAC. Okay. Remember they had the championship was there. Maynard won the damn SWAC. Okay. And like I said, being a former coach, I've been a guy who's been a first-year coach. Lost 4 of my 5 starters. Still was able to win a district championship, but I ain't win the state championship. Okay. But overall, I look back, shit, we had a clear winning record and won a district championship. Overall, it was a success. You know, but it's hard when you're coming off of 2 SWAC championships, and of course, you want that immediate return. You want that immediate return on investment. You want to keep that bitch rolling, especially all the shit that motherfuckers been talking about. I totally get that shit. I totally get that. But we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right, child. This been a pretty good year 1. All right, we just gotta secure the motherfucking football. Secure the football. God damn it, TC. And maybe he's doing this again. Maybe he's doing this. But my youngest, I'm gonna have to ask my youngest. Do y'all see them kids walking around the football players? The ones that are skill guys. Okay, so the goddamn quarterbacks and running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Do you see them carrying around the football on campus? Because they ought to be toting that bitch. That bitch ought to be right there with their goddamn ass. Okay, they ought to be holding that bitch. Okay, they ought to be holding that motherfucker like they would hold a woman. Okay. But maybe that's the thing. These young folks don't hold their women no more. It's just and then gone. Okay. Everybody get their attention span so short. Everything is TikTok. Okay. Y'all goddamn hold it. Gotta hold that motherfucker. Gotta spend some time with it. Okay. Spend some time with that football. And hold it against your chest, young men. Okay. Hold that motherfucker high and tight. Maybe I need to watch some damn. Who was that? Tiki Barber? Was that Tiki Barber? With the New York Giants, remember his ass had all them fumbling problems, and somebody came in there and had to teach his ass to hold that bitch high and tight. Hold that bitch. All right, we fixed that. We damn sure gonna be all right. Put it on something.
Please subscribe to my daddy's YouTube channel because the more subscribers he gets, the more attractive he looks to sponsors. The more attractive he looks to sponsors, the more money he can make. And the more money he can make, the more money he can spend on me.